What was the true cost of British rule in India? For nearly 200 years, the British Empire held sway over the Indian subcontinent, and the legacy it left behind is complex and deeply controversial. Let's peel back the layers of this history, starting with a simple fact. Before the British arrived, India was an economic powerhouse responsible for nearly a quarter of the world's GDP. So, what happened? It began with the East India Company, a private corporation with its own army that systematically conquered vast territories. This wasn't just a political takeover, it was an economic one. Britain systematically dismantled India's thriving industries, especially textiles, to eliminate competition for its own factories. Indian artisans were ruined, and the country was transformed from a global exporter of finished goods into a supplier of cheap raw materials for British industry. This economic drain was massive. Historians estimate that Britain extracted trillions of dollars in today's money from India. This wealth funded Britain's Industrial Revolution and built much of the London we know today. Meanwhile, back in India, this drain led to devastating consequences. Under British administration, India suffered some of the worst famines in its history. While millions starved, British authorities often continued to export grain from famine-stricken regions. These weren't just natural disasters, they were man-made tragedies, amplified by colonial policies that prioritized profit over human lives. Some historians argue these famines claimed tens of millions of Indian lives. Then there's the infamous divide and rule strategy. To maintain control over a vast and diverse population, the British intentionally exacerbated tensions between different religious and ethnic groups, particularly Hindus and Muslims. They created separate electorates and used census data to rigidly categorize people, hardening identities that were once much more fluid. This policy planted the seeds of division that would ultimately lead to the violent partition of India in 1947, a traumatic event that displaced over 10 million people and resulted in immense bloodshed. The British did leave behind railways, a legal system, and a unified administrative framework, but these were built primarily to serve British economic and military interests to transport resources out of the country and move troops more efficiently. The human cost of this empire, the poverty, the famines, the deep-seated social divisions, is a burden that India and Pakistan continue to grapple with today. The story of British rule in India is not just a tale of railways and administration. It's a story of profound economic exploitation and lasting trauma. Thanks for watching. If you want to explore more hidden stories from history, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you next time.